YouTube, hello, we're back with another leg day. So you'll probably have seen on the screen for a few reps that started off with arms. I don't think there's any video apart from the full day of eating where you haven't seen some arm training. But this is my second leg day, so I said I'd film it. It might interest a few people, especially people who don't actually do a squat pattern, because there's no squat pattern in this session. It's just 3 sets of triceps. How can I not remember my own session? 2 sets of hamstring curl, 2 sets of leg extension, 2 sets of pivot press, 1 set of RDLs, 1 set of adductor, 2 sets of calves. And I'm just going to bring you through it, and then anything that pops to mind that's kind of useful for any of you I'm going to say. But also, just if you don't really like watching leg days, then that's fine. Click off the video. But for those of you who care about having big legs, absolutely watch this session, because there should be some good nuggets of information. These legs are like a badge of honor. A big set of legs tells a lot about a person, okay? If you have small legs, take your balls out of your little man purse and start training them fucking hard. Right, as always, starting legs off with a hamstring curl. That was distracting me. It's not going to load your knee from the front, where it's going to take away from, say, your leg extensions or your leg presses or anything like that, but it is going to actually put movement through that knee joint, which is going to warm it up. And also, you can never have hamstrings that are too big, so doing them when you're fresh means you're going to get some really quality work, like as much quality as possible in there to facilitate growth without taking away from anything else. Whereas if you were to put them at the end, you're already very fatigued and you might not give them 100%, or you're very likely to not even be able to give them 100% at the end of a session. So it really makes sense to do them at the beginning. On both of my sessions, that you'll have seen on the last one if you did watch the last video, it's a seated hamstring curl as well, and there's a lying at the end. This session, seated hamstring curl at the start, but I have an RDL at the end. And I'm going to keep that RDL in for as long as I possibly can, because I'm a firm believer in having a different look to your posterior from doing some sort of hinge, and you want to like do what built the muscle to keep the muscle the whole way through prep. So I've done heavy conventionals. They're not feasible to maintain through a whole prep, especially at the loads that I was doing. For me, the next step to have a hinge and have a better stimulus to fatigue ratio, which, as gay as that sounds, it's just about not buckling yourself and getting something similar, if not better, out of the movement. So that is an RDL for me. And also it's going to be more specific to the hamstrings. So that is a little bit of rationale as to why hamstrings come first. Leg extension, I'll walk you through next as well, but having some isolations before your compounds is not going to take away from your compounds. If you're someone who's always done compounds first, there might be like a 2 to 3 week kind of adjustment phase where, say, like, because of your leg extensions, your squat feels a little bit harder, but then 2 weeks down the line, you're still progressing your squat pattern or your leg press just as well, while getting better quality working on your leg extensions. So technically or logically, you should grow more, because you're getting better stimulus there, which means you're stimulating more growth, and you're getting as much quality work done on your compound movements. So it's a win-win. If you want tips on how to do this, then look at my other video where I kind of give a bit more of an example, like an explanation as to what you should be doing, like how you should be sitting, how your legs should be. But something that I want to bring up here is that Just because it's an isolation doesn't mean you treat it any differently to your compounds, because it is just as important. You can't mimic an isolation in any other way than doing an isolation. So why would you treat it as if it's kind of inferior to a compound? Everything has its place when applied correctly. So don't like think of this as, oh, I'll do my isolations and I'll switch it on for my compounds. Treat your warm-ups with intent. They're a rehearsal of your top set. Don't think, oh, I'm warming up and I'll switch it on for my top set. No. You brace, you're powerful, you go through the sets, your warm-up sets, as if it's your top set, okay? Because then you're ready, you're already primed for your top set. It doesn't become a shock to you because you get to your top set and then it's like, oh shit, that's heavy, because you haven't been taking your warm-up seriously. Aim to progress your isolations too, not just, oh, I'll do 10 to 12 reps with this weight every week and then again, I'll progress my compounds. Take the micro progressions, train that little bit harder, take an extra rep, slow your eccentrics down, make the change of direction better. Improve every single part of your training, give every single part of your training 100%, and then you will see how much more you can get from it, rather than treating certain movements as if they're less than others. You are in the gym for a reason, and that is to give as much effort as possible. When you're finished, you go home and you recover, okay? What is the point in half-arsing it here to go home and expect results of someone who's locked in and training hard? You're not going to. So if you're not giving everything in the gym 100% and your progress is lackluster, that is the reason. Okay. Yep. Big W. Being able to do this, being able to do it bilaterally now, because for a while there I had to do it single leg to limit load because I've quite a pain behind this knee, but now it's just bearable. But you'll see I help myself kind of unrack the weight and get in position to where it's safe, because it is loaded in the lengthened. I'm not helping any of my reps, it's just to get me into position and get me out of that kind of vulnerable part of the rep, which is something I'd advise for kind of anyone going really heavy on hamstring curls. So I'm on to leg extensions next. Some days this feels completely fine, legs, my knees feel strong, pain-free. Other days it's like my knees are made of bubble wrap and they're just like the whole way up, and that's where I will choose load wisely, or do what I've said in the previous video, where my first set will be higher reps than my second set, so that I limit the load a bit for the higher rep range to get a load of warmth into the knee joints, and then I can load my second set safely, because this is a prime machine, so I can load the lengthened range, which is great in some ways, but the lengthened range is obviously going to load it where you're most vulnerable to injury. So that's where you have to be careful. That's where you really have to be controlled with your change of direction, because if you're just flinging it up with no joint alignment, your knees will not thank you for it. And it might be fine now, you might be like, yeah, I'm progressing, I'm getting so strong, and then all of a sudden you can't even extend your leg without any weight. That's what you have to be careful of. Also, just on the topic of how to perform the sets, when we come up to the top for that slight hold, it's not just to make it painful. Those isometrics are going to be good for tendon strength too, and as bodybuilders, especially enhanced bodybuilders, a rate of progression that your muscles are getting stronger than your tendons, or stronger quicker than your tendons, that's when you end up with tendon issues. So those isometric holds will help strengthen it. Another point, when you're doing higher rep ranges, or a higher rep range before your heavier, lower rep range set, that is going to be the best way to promote blood flow to your tendons to get them warm, because tendons do not have the same blood supply as muscle. So you need to go through a lot more reps for that blood supply to potentially get into tendons. If you're in the 5 to 7 rep range, your tendons are just there to do their job as tendons, and the blood flow to them is going to be very little, whereas your quads will be pumped. So if you're kind of trying to get your knees warm, get your tendons warm, and actually get some blood flow into them, you want to be up in that kind of 12 to 15 rep range or more. But then it's just about what doesn't cause pain, what you can get a good set of failure with that is actual failure, not stopping just because it's burning, because otherwise you're not getting failure, it just hurts. So it's about finding that sweet spot, and that'll apply to most things. Take your time with the setup, getting into the machine to actually get that hip, knee, ankle alignment. I like to actually get the back of my knee onto the pad, internally rotate my upper legs, get my shins and ankles where they should be, then sit down with tension through the pad, okay? Because if you go from no tension to just kicking it up, you might hurt yourself. So that is a top tip there as well. And straps, keep yourself locked in. A bonus point as well, if you want to be locked in, a seat belt. Right, so first compound of the session, I have pivot press in here. For me, this is meant to be quad bias, but I do get a lot of hip flexion, so almost an equal amount, if not a bit more hip flexion than I do knee flexion, but that is fine because I don't do any direct glute work, so this is going to be predominantly my glute work along with the RDL, because my RDL is very hip flexion dominant. It's not really a hamstring dominant version, although I do hit some hamstrings. Now, you might be thinking, why does he have those foam pads, or why do I see some people using foam pads underneath them? The pitch of this seat in comparison to, so the part you sit on and the back pad, the pitch is so high that as soon as I come down, almost instantly, I'm maxed out hip flexion and can't get any deeper. My knees are at my chest. These pads are essentially turning this angle that's too steep into this angle, meaning it opens up my hip, so I have less hip flexion. So I have more potential for hip flexion, which means before maxing out my hip flexion, I'm still getting knee flexion, right? Or getting more knee flexion. Similar to why someone would wear a squat shoe. If you don't have enough dorsiflexion, so flexion at your ankle, like your ankle isn't mobile enough to bend, you would put on a squat shoe, which makes you more plantar flexed, which is a bigger angle, so rather than your ankle being like this, it's like this, meaning more potential for ankle flexion so that you don't run out of ankle flexion before knee flexion. So it's the same thing here. I'm aiming not to run out of hip flexion before I run out of knee flexion. So some machines you'll be able to get everything you want from them without even changing the setup, or the machine itself has some different settings, but this one, to make it fit me and my needs, that's what I need to do. So don't be afraid to do that at times, but don't just do something someone else is doing because they're doing it. Understand the reasoning why before applying it, because you might not even need it. If you're trying to do a glute bias version, then you want all the hip flexion and very little knee flexion. So it's just what applies to you and your goals. Also, a little plug for those of you in the market for some knee sleeves or even straps, or pretty much any gym accessory at this point. Hard body, my code GYM10 is going to get you 10% off everything on the website. But I just wanted to mention, if you are a bodybuilder and you want some knee sleeves, you want your knee sleeves to serve a purpose in terms of creating warmth in the joint, not helping the exercise and taking tension away from your quads, and almost masking the fact that you're weak in the bottom portion, because if you weren't to wear them, you could fuck your shit up. Whereas get the single ply knee sleeves, which provide loads of warmth in the joint, but don't really add anything strength-wise. So they keep your knees a little bit healthier due to keeping warmth in there, especially if you're someone going into prep and your joints are getting a bit drier and you have different leverages because you don't have that cushion of fat behind your leg when you're getting into deep knee flexion. Something like this is a really good tool. And again, it is a tool, it's not to be relied on. So I warm up to 8-9 plates before I put these on, because I don't rely on them, but they do help what I'm doing. So that's something worth mentioning too. You shouldn't be relying on your equipment. Something like a strap like you might need if you're doing a deadlift, because you can't hold on to 220 kilos, but hard body, Gym 10, single ply knee sleeve is probably one of my favorite things they have, because they serve the purpose extremely well. And I've had these for quite a long time now, and they're not even frayed. So it's quality, they're built to last, and they do the job very well. And literally all of the products come in the sickest colorways ever, so you could literally match any gym outfit you want, or just get your favorite color. So that's something to help you guys out if you want a discount on the sickest gym accessories you can get. Okay. Final warm up before the real deal. Feeling good. I am a big believer in the fact that obviously every warm up is a rehearsal of your top set, but don't let your warm ups determine how your top set is going to go. Don't be getting in your head, oh, that feels heavy, oh, I might go a bit lighter today. When you switch on for your top set completely, it's a different type of drive, okay? If you are someone who's advanced and kind of clued into switching it on, okay? You treat all your warm-ups as if it's a top set, but that kind of cognitive drive or that neural drive that you use going into a top set, it makes things feel different, okay? So don't be like, might leave it there, it feels a bit heavy. Do all your warm-ups, get to your top set, fucking switch it on. Put on whatever music it is that you have to put on. Think about whatever thoughts you need to think about to get it done. Especially in a prep, you want to keep as much of your performance as you possibly can until the show to kind of prevent losing any muscle. Because all the muscle you spent so much time and hard work building in your off season, you want to bring that to stage and showcase that. Whereas if you let that little inner bitch speak to you and say, oh, might go a bit lighter today, you know, make it a bit slower, make it a bit harder, reset the load. You should be doing things properly already and maintaining that throughout. Not having that cop out of, oh, I could make it a little bit better now, just so you can go lighter. Switch it on, cover all of your variables running up to it the day before, hydration, sleep, nutrition, everything, to make sure that set goes as well as possible. And then when body weight's a bit lower and you know you might need to take a little tactical regression to load, that's fine when you're a few weeks out. But if you're 8+ weeks out making load regressions, you're just being a fucking pussy, if I'm honest.
Still easy.
Okay.
Go. Come on. Press. Get it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Did it as tight as like to bounce back.
What's that?
At didn't expect it to go on for that.
Oh no, it's okay. I've done that before by accident myself. Oh, I felt like my head was going to explode on that last one. Oh, what?
That's really good.
Thanks. Top set complete. Another week retention of number. Well, I went up a rep last week and I retained it. Definitely feel a little bit less stable from having a bit less fat on the legs, but that's fine. So it led to maybe some reps I dropped to the bottom a little bit fast, which I can rectify next session, or at least make sure it doesn't get any worse. But I'm happy with that. I have a second set now with a plate less, and spotted by my client Nikita, because Joe isn't trained today because he's a little bit ill, or at least really fucking run down that it didn't make sense to train. But yeah, that was good. I'll put on the screen what the song was, because some of you might think it's some absolute headbanging music or something like that, but it was With or Without You by Military Wives. So it might not work for you, it might work for you, but certainly I saw like some audition of people doing that, like a choir doing that. It was like they had been through some thing in their life, because obviously they're military wives, and then you listen to the song and it has like that emotion in it, and then when you listen to the song without that, you can hear that in the song, and you might be like, this guy's fucking popped a blood vessel in his brain or something and talking this shit. But sometimes it's not about being as hyped as possible, it's about being able to control that aggression in a set, and sometimes it's that more peaceful music. I'm not just saying that to try and be like my favorite influencer that does the same. Sometimes I do listen to stuff that's just absolute nonsense and noise because I need that hype, but today that just hit different, so I went with it. Can't really tell on the camera, but I always feel like I age about 10 years for about 10 minutes after the set, but we can see skin starting to get a bit thinner on the face, a bit pale. Not that pale at the minute, so I know it was a good set. Adductors just finished. Nice to be loading those, because I couldn't even train adductors for about a year. I'm going to go on to RDLs now, and I'm going to actually film the set, but I'm going to close the video out at home just because I've been in here a long time, and the session is it's a grueling one. Okay, there's big sets, and at the moment I'm doing adductor before RDL because it gives me a bit of a break between leg press and RDLs, and it means I can perform on RDLs. My stability straight after leg press is absolutely gone. Like if I go straight into RDLs, it's like I can't even bear the load. So giving myself that bit of a break makes a big difference. So I'm going to continue doing that throughout prep. So yeah, that's it. You'll see my RDLs, and then you'll see me back at home with my beautiful bowl of cream of rice. Back from gym, great session. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one. That's what I feel like saying right now. The session was very long, and it's a big session as it is. I've probably said that already. But delayed gratification and all that, we get a lovely bowl of cream of rice with whey paste and pippa nut, coconut and almond butter, strawberries, raspberries with whey paste on, and then a bit of whey paste as well, because I've increased my protein since my calories came down. And this was well needed. You're gonna see from the RDL video, I ran out of storage, and there's not the whole set, but you get an idea of what's going on. You'll have seen what the layout of the session is, some mindset talk, some potentially some execution talk, or at least some tips as to why I do some things. So hopefully there's some helpful bits in there. As always, comment if you have any questions about anything. If you don't have any questions, but you've got to this part of the video, comment real one, because you're a real one, okay? That's it really, okay? Really good session, bit of a longer one. Was chatting to quite a few people, but look, I'm not at the point of prep where I'm going to actually ignore people. And it's sometimes nice to be a social butterfly. Session didn't take probably much longer than it usually would anyway, because it's a huge session and I normally end up waiting for Anna to finish hers. But yeah, on a real note this time, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.